The Zerg Lord is a Zerg player. Terran Lord
Yeah.
is a Terran. Probe was a Protoss. SCV is a Protoss.
That's the power of Protoss.
There you go.
Apparently. And speaking of the power of Protoss, here we are now on site Delta. Over here in the bottom right-hand corner map, starting all the way in the bottom right-hand corner, playing for Mystery Gaming. Very popular team nowadays. We have SCV.
And spawning in the top left-hand corner, we have as opponent, we have the Chinese Protoss player, one of the best Protoss in all of China, representing the Starving Camels, SSLT. It is Cyan.
Who I was gonna say also is inappropriately named, but then I realized that I don't remember what color Cyan is.
It's blue, Yakko, it's blue. Yeah.
There we go. Okay.
Like,
See,
not
in my
quite
mind,
blue,
it's
but
always
yeah.
like purplish green.
Yeah, like turquoise, you know, or like
I
aquamarine.
mean, turquoise is like aquamarine,
Mm.
but aquamarine's like a little yellowish.
The
No,
Cyan,
it's a turquoise.
you're just bringing back all of these memories from Cyan, the esports journalist who used to be quite big in StarCraft back in the day. I think in his Discord server, he also had like a Cyan emote, which was just the color Cyan. But I want to say he had like did he have a turquoise emote as well? I'm sure Kura would know. But I think that was also a thing. Debates were had.
See, my memories went back to Azure.
True.
Who would constantly be forced to play as red.
Yeah, Azure, Crimson.
Crimson, there we go.
There you
Always forced to play as blue.
Oh god. But we are diving into this, and we should
Yellow.
quickly bring this up as a true yellow as well, as this is going to be
yellow.
gate expand setups here from both players, Stargate openers as well. This has potential to lead into something that we've been casting quite a bit of this week, but I think you and I haven't quite delved into. This could lead into Phoenix versus Phoenix Wars.
Yeah, let's go. Has been rising a little bit in popularity here, and I'm excited to see some of that coming to life as well. So far, we have pretty much exactly mirrored builds, aside from the fact that Cyan did block SCV's base for just a couple of seconds longer.
Ooh, and despite both players scouting each other's Stargates, neither player goes for a Phoenix. A bold, crazy move, by the way. This is so risky. If one player made a Phoenix and if the other made an Oracle, then the chances of the Oracle getting damaged is very low. But they both double down on Oracle production instead.
It's all going to be about who has better control, who is able to really position their Stalkers better here.
Yeah, exactly. As we do see initially Cyan pushing out with a couple of units. He does have an abundance of Stalkers. In a couple of seconds, the shield battery is going to finish up. But we do get a first hit in. We already chip away at that Zealot. And that shield battery does have finite energy. It's going to take a while for an overcharge to be available.
Yeah, and already it's starting to run pretty low. Cyan going to be able to keep all of his units alive for the time being, as the Oracles do pass each other, like ships and Knight. SCV is taking this a lot more seriously now, though. Will be building a Phoenix.
Yeah, we have Phoenix on the way. Shield batteries is done for both players in both mineral lines. We're going for some stasis traps in the main base of Cyan, but only one worker will be trapped at the same time. Cyan trying to break into the natural base, trying to get damage done in the main, but the overcharge is keeping most of these probes alive.
For now, Oracle does provide a pretty good distraction here for the Phoenix and for one of the Stalkers as well. Cyan going to be continuing to chip away at that wall, but will be chased away right at the end here.
Yeah, will be chased away. Meanwhile, we have another second stasis trap into the main base. Cyan does take note. He does pull away. Only a single probe gets caught once again as the Oracle has been spotted. And we could try to dive on it as the Phoenix does zoom across the map, making a beeline right for that Oracle.
Yeah, it wants it. It wants it so bad. But Stalkers will be enough to chase it away.
Yeah, the Oracle will be safe and sound in the main base. And now we can settle into guess, at the beginning of the mid-game here. As we're getting up to 2-base saturation, Blink is on the way for both players. Gateways are being thrown down as well, and the game is going to be settling after a bit of a chaotic early game.
Yeah, very much so. Both players pretty much mirrored very well in the early game, but now that we get to the mid-game, we can see a little bit of a divergent in builds coming out from them.
Yeah, as we do have a very fast third base being taken here from SCV, so he's looking for a longer standard macro game. Meanwhile, Cyan throws out a proxy pylon. He hasn't seen the third base yet. He doesn't know how economic his opponent is being, but he throws out a proxy gateway. He is looking to ramp up the aggression.
And he's going to get it. Probe will dip in and it will confirm that, yep, that is a third base. But hold on, this Oracle is pathing away from the proxy.
Yeah, it does skirt the edge of the map. It's not going to scout the proxy location. Cyan is pushing, by the way. He has already an abundance of Stalkers. He's going to have a reinforcement point to warp in 4 Stalkers at a time. He is expanding behind this, but his expansion is significantly later than that of his opponent. So Cyan, he has to trade. He has to make this worth his while.
Yeah, absolutely does. Blink now finished for both of our players. Cyan keeping just a couple of Stalkers back home, which he really wants on the front line right now, but he has to keep them home to protect against Oracles.
Yeah, and here we go. The Stalkers, they push on forward. So far, the Blinks are looking good. One Stalker did go down for SCV. The shield battery is helping, but another Stalker will fall.
It will, but it will buy enough time for this Nexus to finish up, and there is enough energy for one recall. Oof, a little bit of mistiming here from Cyan. We'll be getting a lot more probes trapped in that stasis, and necessary. No! He chrono boosts the Oracle, but thankfully he will have enough energy elsewhere to go for this battery overcharge. Cyan trying to one-shot these Stalkers one at a time, and is starting to get it. SCV, though, with his probe pull, will be enough to chase us back.
That was a really weird sentence to hear.
SCV will pull the probes.
SCV with the probe pull. I was like, remember, I was like, what?
That was a split, yeah. That was a split second where I could feel the words SCV's pulls his voice on my tongue, and I guess technically it's true, but
true.
Yeah, it's weird.
It is very weird, but regardless, 7 workers go down. SCV getting a lot of damage on across the map with that Oracle. Now he's ahead, far ahead economically. All he has to do is hold on as Cyan is becoming that much more committed. He does take down the beast. So far, the Blinks are looking better for Cyan, but that shield battery putting in a lot of work, keeping these Stalkers alive.
Yeah, not only that, but SCV is able to maintain his concave of Stalkers. Will be able to warp in. I guess Cyan can warp in as well, but the defensive advantage is absolutely paying off here for SCV.
It is, but Cyan does have a 5 Stalker lead. His Blinks have been better. A lot of his Stalkers are very low, bear that in mind. Even though he has a higher Stalker count, a lot of them are one shot away from going down once those shields are worked through. So a very delicate dance, a very delicate army for Cyan as he does push on forward once again, looking to try and break this position.
Yeah, battery overcharge is still on cooldown for now. Cyan does get a pretty good concave. Dance of the Blinks is happening, and it looks like Cyan, with his numerical advantage, will be able to gain a lot of ground. His Stalkers are so low, though, and once again, he's on the back foot.
He really is, and Cyan behind this is able to chrono out and actually take an economic lead from this point, but behind this, SCV, I believe he was just throwing down additional gateways. Once again, we do see a big fight. SCV barely holding on. We have more shield batteries on the way behind this.
But they're not done yet. And Cyan's looking to just trade as efficiently as he can with the rest of his Stalkers here. I think he has recognized that there's no way he's going to be able to break this position with purely Stalkers, so he just wants to keep SCV preoccupied. He really wants to keep this pressure going while he grabs his 4th base.
Yeah, 4th base is on the way. +1 attack just now starts off for Cyan. I was really curious because we have a Forge, but we actually never started +1 for SCV. It did slip his mind. It's something that he hasn't quite focused on yet. So he's going to be falling behind a little bit when it comes to the overall quality of his army, because it's not just +1. Charges on the way as well for Cyan.
Yeah, really looking to diversify here, and that will really give his army another dimension, question mark? Gonna give his army a lot more sustainably, I guess. Depth, there we go.
Yeah, I like dimension.
Sophistication, dimension, yeah. Now it's not just the blinking, but it's also the running.
Exactly. As you do see SCV taking his own fourth, it is far later than that of Cyan's, unfortunately. Likewise, +2 is delayed for the blue Protoss, and Cyan is going to be rotating around here, actually bypassing the army, catches one of these pylons. It's a kill, not a cancel. Nice little pick off here from Cyan, but he doesn't commit, he doesn't have to, as he's just getting a better economy and refining his army as well.
Yeah, he has some map control. He knows he has some map control, and he knows that he doesn't want to stick around too much longer, but that SCV probably doesn't want to risk it too much, so he is going to be stuck on his side of the map, while Cyan benefits from the much earlier fourth base.
I wanna believe that the person in the chair playing SCV right now is like in an SCV suit, and he he used to be a part of a Terran army, and he's had enough. You know, he's seen his brothers die to adepts and oracles far too many times, and he's fallen to the dark side. You know, he's become one with the color, or at least he's trying to. And
he grew out his hair and braided it, and it's like, yeah, this makes me Protoss now.
He became like a Protoss like fanatic, and he really wants to be a Protoss, and you know, I can understand it, I can respect it. You know,
to his arm, be like, hey guys. This is my zealot swords.
Oh my god.
My mind. He keeps his mouth shut now.
There you go.
The entire time. Uses like text to speech. Or not even text. Yeah, text to speech.
Mm-hmm. Well, in my mind, he just, again, he, like, physically, he is an SCV, but, like, he's, like, I don't know, like, maybe filed his drills and turn them into like zealot, or tries to turn them into zealot blades, or maybe he has like actually attached zealot blades to his drills instead, which look pretty cool actually.
It actually really would. That should be buff for that SCVs can research.
To pull the boys? Oh my god, you're crazy.
There we go. But they're still very slow, so they don't have charge. They still move very slowly. So.
As we do have Cyan taking a fifth base behind this. Now, we have had quite a change here when it comes to armies. SCV, of course, still committing to Mass Blink Stalker against the Charge Lord Stalker of Cyan, but we have a Robotic Spade, we have Disruptors on the way. Meanwhile, +2 just finished off with Cyan. He does have a window here where he is up in upgrades.
He is going to be up in upgrades, and he will have these Zealots to provide a lot of a buffer here for his Stalkers as well. One Disruptor is out, though, for SCV, and Cyan knows that he can lose the entire balance of this game, but with just one well-placed Purification Nova.
Exactly, and we have double Robo production, 2 Disruptors being made at a time. All we need is one good Nova, as you mentioned, for a battle to go the way of the SCV. Meanwhile, Cyan, as he distracts the main army, we have a massive Zealot counterattack here towards the south, towards that fourth base. Up!
As SCV pulls back, Cyan pulls in, blinks right on top of one of these Disruptors, takes them out, takes another Nova to the face, but will be able to take out the rest of the Disruptors as a result. A lot of force fields being thrown down, and yeah, SCV's completely zoned away from this base.
Exactly. Great target farming there out of Cyan, taking down so many Disruptors. Every single Disruptor does fall here by the might of Cyan. He gets 7 worker kills from that Zealot run by earlier as well. We have one more Disruptor coming in. Cyan has done an amazing job at dodging and even sniping those Disruptors. Can he keep it up though? Because SCV is still in this. SCV is still maxed out.
Indeed he is. I'm surprised that Cyan actually doesn't pull ahead here when it comes to supply. Even though those Disruptor pickoffs were absolutely important for him, but yeah, and all said and done, SCV is still in this, and he still has a very good chance. The Disruptor is super exposed and will get taken out once again. Another very decisive blink forward here from Cyan. Will get rid of the second Disruptor. He's taking a lot of volleys though, as he tries to retreat back into back towards his Warp Prism.
Oh my god, he just locks onto the Disruptor immediately. Another one goes down. Not a single Nova has connected, but look at the Stalker concave here. The pure Stalker army is just getting out of control. Who needs Disruptors when you have so many Stalkers?
Exactly, those pickoffs were absolutely beautiful here for Cyan, but it did also allow SCV to get a lot of free shots in with the rest of his Stalker army, a lot of very important volleys, and when it's all said and done, Cyan doesn't trade that efficiently.
Yeah, exactly. He did lose so much there, bled out so much when trying to break his opponent's side. He may be up in bases, slightly ahead in workers here, but it doesn't matter if he can't take these fights, if he can't break his opponent. And SCV is still just committed to a pure Blink Stalker Disruptor army. And these Disruptors, they haven't been getting too much value at all so far, but that may be about to change once SCV pushes out, once he becomes the aggressor.
Well, they've acted as good bait.
They have. Yeah.
Fill out these stalkers to, you know, get some good volleys in.
It's a little bit sad that we're making Disruptors and like your job is to soak like a volley of stalker shots. But I can do so much more, Buffy. Like I can kill everyone. It's like no.
Give me a chance, coach.
I can win you the game. No, you're gonna soak some shots, okay?
Just tire the opponents out. You know, that's all you need to do. You have one job, and it's like, but coach.
Feels bad, man.
Practicing so hard.
Feels bad. When it comes to what Cyan's been doing, again, he still has his own gateway army. He's getting into his own robotics vein now, working towards his Disruptors, and a big DT counterattack will get on top of this 5th base. The 5th is cancelled. This is the downside of what Cyan's been doing. He's been investing so much into these Dark Templar. They haven't really been paying for themselves. That's where he's been investing his own resources, but he does catch SCV slightly out of position.
And will be able to break into this natural base. Blinks on forward. Will he be able to get the Robo Bay? Will he be able to get the Robo Bay? Well, regardless, he's getting a lot of damage. He is able to take out a good amount of production. Depowers a couple of buildings.
He does depower those buildings. Nova goes off, not quite connecting a Cyan. He can blink down to the low ground to that 3rd base. SCV's getting ready for it. He goes for the warp in as well. The army getting stuck here on the ramp, dealing with this Immortal. As you mentioned, though, the Cyber Core did go down. No more Stalkers can be warped in, only Zealots.
I was wondering why he warped in all of those Zealots in the 3rd base. Yeah. I guess now we know why. This puts SCV in such a vulnerable position for the next couple of minutes or so, as Cyan is just going to continue gearing up. He's getting a couple of Disruptors on the way right now, and yeah, he's just looking to find a position to situate himself where he can really punish SCV's army.
Oh, exactly, and here we go. SCV finally gonna be. He hasn't been able to push out this entire game. He hasn't been able to attack at all, but now finally he's moving out. At the same time, though, Cyan goes for his own counterattack, but he's running the cannons, shield batteries, and an army. There is detection for these DTs.
Indeed, there is. Well, DTs do have high damage. Oh, if they're not able to get on top of targets, they are pretty much useless. Really decisive blink forward once again. But really important Nova gets popped here for SCV. I don't think that's going to be enough, though, as the tables have turned. Cyan, with the defender's advantage, is now going to be pulling slightly ahead here when it comes to the engagement.
Yeah, he forces SCV all the way back. Once again, the Disruptors got completely cleaned up. We saw one big Nova. One juicy Nova did connect, but all the Disruptors did fall, and now SCV has to back off. He still is able to maintain control, or maintain his economy, maintain his army as well, but Cyan is now getting into his own Disruptors, and now the turns have tabled. How good is SCV at sniping those Disruptors?
Well, we'll see. I do like this from Cyan, is that he hasn't really morphed his DTs into Archons yet, and you know, that's a way of keeping the Disruptors alive, kind of.
It is. It
Stalkers
definitely
blink in, and yeah, they get wiped out by the DT swipes.
That could be a good way to deal with this. 2 more Disruptors go down for SCV as they just fall as soon as they're being made at this point. We do see Cyan still looking to back control the center of the map. He goes for his own DT counterattack, but there are cannons in position. DTs are going to get cleaned up. Cyan just mass expanding towards the top right as well, just taking so many bases.
Yeah, Cyan is pulling out very far ahead when it comes to the base count. He is up over 10 workers of SCV at this point, but he has consistently been behind when it comes to army supply, and that's very worrisome. He's making a lot of these Disruptors, which immediately get sniped. Cyan, his attention elsewhere for just a split second, will allow SCV to snipe those Disruptors and gain a lot of momentum moving across the map.
Yeah, and here we go. As SCV pushes out, we have a massive DT counterattack here at the natural base, at the 5th base as well. SCV, we can just push Bappy, but no, it looks like he turns it back around to deal with this because there are just so many DTs. He's taking this very seriously, and Cyan, he's buying time to rebuild and remax.
so it goes. SCV losing a lot of losing a lot of probes, a lot of workers here. But he has a little bit of a bank. He's been super maxing this entire time. For every probe that goes down, SCV is replacing it with another Zealot, another Stalker, and so on and so forth.
Yeah, and I appreciate that actually SCV does turn around to protect his 5th, but he doesn't turn around to protect his natural base. He has reinforcements to deal with that. He will clean up those DTs, and SCV is going to keep on pushing. We have another big counterattack once again, and SCV, he's had one moment in this game where he was able to like harass these bases, but that was the only moment. He's still stuck on his own side of the map.
Yeah, Cyan has been doing such a good job of keeping the pressure up here on SCV. Maybe not the most efficient job when it comes to the actual trades here, but no matter what, he is still putting the fear in SCV. Every time SCV moves out, he's watching his back. He is anticipating a backstab here from Cyan.
Exactly, but finally we can push out. Finally, the backstabs, they have ended, and SCV can be on the aggressive side here of this map, on Cyan's side of the map. Now, there are 2 disruptors, there are Novas available for both players. We'll see what comes down, or how this engagement does come down.
Yeah, players need to be very, very careful here. Cyan recognizes he's down in army supply, doesn't want to just blink immediately on top of the disruptors like he has earlier in this game. He's in a very precarious position.
He really is. A Nexus is going to go down, but Cyan, he's on 7 bases. He's now knocked down to 6, but he has plenty of bases to spare. He doesn't lose too many workers. The armies are about to clash as well, and Cyan, is he looking up?
Seems like he wasn't, but thankfully was able to pull back and doesn't lose too much here. Off his army will lose a disruptor, however.
Yeah, Disruptor goes down. Another big DT counterattack, but there's plenty of static defense. This time the DTs, they will be forced back. They will not get any damage whatsoever, only getting 1 cannon. And SCV is still trading well with the army. You can see that Cyan, he's burning through his bank. He has 7 bases, that is true. He tries to take an 8th base, but Cyan just doesn't have a gas bank, not anymore.
Yeah, he keeps losing all of these DTs, and that's really eating into his gas count.
Yeah, these DT counterattacks, they've been costly, they've been expensive, and they haven't really been worth it. He killed the natural earlier, but at this point, we don't really care about the natural for SCV.
Yeah, I mean, the natural base is pretty much completely mined out. Cyan able to catch a couple of these disruptors, catches all of these disruptors before the Novas can pop. But is that going to be enough to turn this around?
Is it enough? We have Zealots coming in here from the north. We do avoid those Zealots. Once again, this Nexus is going to fall as well. It does get focused down, and Zealots are wreaking havoc in the mineral line. 8 workers do go down as well. SCV getting a lot of damage done. But Cyan, he's not out of this yet. He's able to actually, for the first time in a long time, take a supply lead. He still has a lot of DTs alive, but Cyan is not quite in position to protect these northern bases. SCV, he actually hasn't scouted top right. He doesn't know it's here.
And why would he? No, Cyan, he's been having trouble keeping this 7th base alive. Why would SCV suspect that secretly he has an 8th somewhere?
Yeah, exactly. As SCV is going to be bleeding out quite a lot of Stalkers here in the retreat, and looks like he still doesn't check. No!
Just go past the grass!
He doesn't see. Feels bad, man. As SCV is trying to go for a backstab as well, or for his own counterattack towards the south. He doesn't quite find an opportunity, though, as he does blink away. Cyan going for his own run by as well. The armies, of 2 armies even, looking to dance with each other, and then it goes off.
Couple of Stalkers will get taken out. Cyan applying a lot of pressure on the base of SCV. Will be, forcing to cancel, but will also be taking a very juicy Nova to the face. Cyan is maxed out, but he is down when it comes to army supply, heavily down.
Yeah, he is down in that army supply. We're going for a big counterattack as well. Overcharge going to try and keep this alive, but the DCs, they blink on forward. Cannons are falling, and SCV does not turn around.
And he commits. He knows that he has a lot of momentum after taking that massive Nova. And he knows he can end the game. He's going all the way across the map, will be taking out this base, and will be forcing a reaction out of Cyan. I don't believe he has a recall just yet.
Yeah, exactly. As this third base is going to be going down, SCV pushing towards the natural as well. One disruptor is going to be falling once again here for SCV, but he rotates towards this linear third base instead, and this Nexus should be falling as well. SCV now dealing with another disruptor. Wait, how many disruptors have fallen this game? I'm scared to check.
5 from Cyan and 16 from SCV.
Oh boy, are we going to reach 20? We may.
Well, if we count both players, then it's already hit 20. And now it's even
20.
higher and higher. We just hit 20 for SCV alone, 25 in total.
Let's go. Nova's going off. Big connection on the Stalkers of SCV. Really the connection that Cyan was looking for. He did lose some bases. The Stalkers, they need to get the hell out of here. There's no detection either. DTs are in hot pursuit.
They really are. They blink on forward, and they even body block these Stalkers a little bit, making it that much more tricky for them to really retreat. Cyan wants to end the game now and here and now. And with another couple of good Novas, I think he really can.
He could, but SCV still up in army supply. That's a crazy. I just realized he's down to 37 probes. 37 workers here for SCV. He barely has an economy. He's been burning through his bank. This is forcing him pretty all in. Like, if he loses another big fight, he won't be able to rebuild.
Took me a second to process SCV being down to 37 probes. But yeah, we got there. We got there. And, I think that's really important to... I think you made a really important point. SCV has practically been all in for this entire game, but only now I think has he really realized it, and has he really decided to say, screw it, I'm just going all the way in for to take out your bases and to take out your main.
Yeah, exactly. He's going to be rotating up here. We're actually mined out of minerals here at the top left base. SCV, he may think he's in a better position than he really is. Cyan has the bank because of top right and now center right as well. DT's bust into the main base. SCV, he's sniping these next sites, sniping these mining bases. Again, he may think that he's denying any kind of mining from Cyan.
And technically he is, but nowhere near as much as he really needs to get back on even economic footing.
Exactly, as probes are falling left and right, this Nexus is under threat. Cyan having a hard time engaging with all these Stalkers. DTs are coming in for a flank.
And they will be able to catch these Disruptors, if nothing else. Cyan has SCV on the back foot for the first time in a very long time. He's actually ahead in army supply. SCV still hasn't scouted that top right base, by the way.
He hasn't, yeah. But he has seen the center right, so he's at least aware of one of the important mining bases of Cyan. Meanwhile, the main base has fallen here for SCV, and SCV does have an observer. Thankfully, he does need that detection to deal with these ZTs.
He does, but does he have anything to deal with the Disruptors behind all of this?
That is a good question, as SCV at least still has bottom left mining. We're going to be rotating around. We catch an observer as well, barely do snipe it, to make sure we hold on to our detection. And again, at least SCV is aware of the mining base, of one of the mining bases, so he has a little bit more information working his way. He actually goes straight for the main.
Yeah, just trying to bust his way through, but a very quick warp in will force him to reconsider for the time being. SCV turns around. Tries to fight at the top of this ramp, but I don't think it's going to work out for him at all.
Observer just got sniped. No detection available for SCV. GG gets called, and Cyan will barely take game number 1.
GG. Nicely done by both of our players. That was a 28-minute PvP, but let me tell you, it did not feel like 28 minutes at all. There was always so much action, always so much back and forth that honestly that felt like a 15-minute game.
Oh yeah, that was
so jam-packed.
Exactly. So jam-packed, so back and forth as well. There were ups, there were turns, the ups and downs, turns as well. And yeah, for a while there, it looked like SCV was in the driver's seat, but he never scouted top right. For such a long time, the entire base was up and running and didn't realize that Cyan had a stronger economic position than he really was aware of. And GG, well played, Cyan. He comes out on top.
Just like so, yeah. Surprisingly as well. I mean, I think a lot of us do consider Cyan to be the favorite going into this series, but you know, after his initial proxy got deflected, after he was investing so much in DTs that didn't really do that much for him until the very end of that game, mind you. I really thought that Cyan was just gonna get starved out eventually. Like you said, it looked like SCV was moving on to kind of take the driver's seat here in this game, but little did he know, Cyan was controlling the car with a remote this entire time.
Yeah, he just was not fully aware, and oh, it looks like we need a moment here, and I don't blame the players at all. Cyan did just mention that he needed a couple of minutes here to as a break, and it makes sense. That was 28 minutes. That was 28 minutes of almost non-stop action with those Blink Stalker. It was wild. It was crazy. It was back and forth. GG, well played. Honestly, like it could have gone either direction. It could have gone either way. Over 20 like I lament for the disruptors.
25 disruptors total. 20 on the side of SCV, by the way.
Yeah.
5 from the side of Cyan.
Yeah, like
just not a good game to be a disruptor.
SCV, he had amazing Blink Stalker control. Okay, his Blink Stalker movement, his positioning was amazing. Disruptor is a little bit less so. I almost wish to introduce SCV to like Skillus and be like, Papi, if you want, you can make Colossus instead, and it kind of works. You know, you can make it work, Papi. You know, it can at least help with some of that DPS as well. But yeah, not something you see too often. As our players are getting ready and we're getting ready for game 2. I can't believe it's only game 2.
Wow. It's maybe the one time where you know, mainstream is actually ahead of B stream.
Yeah, exactly. I don't think anyone was expecting a PvP to go on this late. Not just to go on this late, but yeah, to to have a late game, but just with a purely Blink Stalker disruptor army. Like it was very chaotic, very chaotic.
Absolutely. Stalkers were falling left and right. Disruptors were falling. Buildings were falling. Just, I mean, I almost regret now not taking one final look at the resources and units lost stat, because, oh my lord, I think it's in total probably a number that's higher than what I can count to.
100%. But yeah, we are just getting ready to dive into that second game again. Our players did just need a moment to just take a breath. I don't blame them at all. It makes plenty of sense, and we'll see where this all takes us here. As game 2 is going to be on Oceanborn. After game 1, I want an ace match. I want us to go the distance. I want some more SCV action, but it's not on me. It's on our boys.
Yeah. Indeed, it is. What do they have planned now?
I'm gonna be so sad if we just like see proxy versus proxy.
Yeah, DT versus Cannon Russian. Yeah. Anyway, here we are now on Oceanborn, continuing our best of 3 series here. We're in the bottom right-hand corner map, starting all the way in the bottom right. We have our blue Protoss player coming down from the land of China. They told him he could be anything, so he decided to play Protoss. For Mystery Gaming, we have SCV.
And spawning in the top left-hand corner, we have his opponent. We have the Chinese Protoss player representing the Starving Camels, SSLT, leading the series 1-0. It is Cyan. Oh. Go on.
Yeah, ever since you put that image in my headlight, I still have that mental image of SCV, you know, in the suit.
Yeah.
At his desk.
Oh my god. I love the idea of like an SCV just cosplaying as a Protoss and trying to make himself look like a zealot, you know, like yeah, it's beautiful. I want that.
That's a great paint on him, you know.
Yep. I love the idea of him growing out like dreadlocks as well. Yep. Just make it look like he's got the color thing going. It's good stuff. Good stuff.
He attaches like a fan inside of his suit to like blow the hair up so that it's actually flowing a bit.
Yeah. Full cosplay, mate. Full cosplay.
Beautiful. Or does his hair grow out of the suit?
Part of me was thinking maybe he like actually cut his hair and like glued it on the outside of the suit. But maybe it would make more sense for him to try to cut a hole in the suit and have it go out. Yeah. Look, it takes a little work and effort to be that dedicated.
It really does. It's not just drawing on your face with a marker,
No,
and putting on a hat.
Yeah, check out Yaku's Twitter.
Do that.
Why did you dress up as Dave? What was the reasoning for that, Yaku? What happened?
So, way back in March,
I
was coming back from uni one night,
mm-hmm.
and I realized I have the same wardrobe as Dave. So I just needed to grow out the facial hair, but that didn't really go as planned, so I had to improvise.
There you go. I like the idea of back in March you came up with the idea, you came up with the plan, and you committed. You remembered as well. That's dedication.
Surprising, that's what it is. I remember something for that long.
Let's go. As we have some very interesting openers, we do really quickly have to catch up with what's been happening. Cyan went for Gate Expand. Cyan, he's doing his best Max Packs impression. You love to see it. Very economic opener, and this should trigger a response out of SCV. We do have a third gateway on the way. This is looking like the beginnings of a one-base all-in from our Blue Protoss.
Yeah, really looking to not just punish the macro play, the economic play coming out from Cyan, but also potentially just take a very quick win here. Cyan has not neglected his defenses at all. He is getting a Void Ray just in case, and behind that will also be getting a Robo facility on the way for potential Immortals. SCV, meanwhile, yeah, no, he is 100% committed to that one base.
Yeah, exactly. So it's not going to be one-base Robo, it's going to be one-base Blink. I believe 4 Gate Blink Stalkers are going to be coming out from SCV. There's that 4th gateway thrown down across the map. And as you mentioned, something important to take note of is that Void Rays in PvP, they don't really have too much of a place other than the early game. You know, they're great defensive tools here. With Prismatic Alignment, with an Overcharge, they can just mow through Stalkers. And we're buying enough time, we're going Void Ray Immortal, as the first Immortal is on the way.
Yeah, really covering his bases right now is Cyan. Probe will dip in and confirm that, yep, Cyan is taking this very, very seriously. He is very well fortified, but SCV, he already committed, man. He needs to get something done here, and let's hope that his blink control is going to be enough for him to overwhelm these 2 Void Rays, 1 soon to be 2 Immortals, and shield batteries here with overcharge.
Ooh, exactly, as this is going to be a difficult position to break, as you mentioned, with so much stacked defense. The first Immortal has arrived, second Immortal is on the way. Now, SCV, if he gets high ground vision, he can avoid this army. He can blink into the main, as blink is done. But high ground vision is not something that he has available to him. He has no sentry, he has no hallucination.
Yeah, none at all. Saboteur is in a little bit of danger here, so Cyan won't really be able to warp in any Stalkers here, although, arguably he doesn't really need to. The backbone of his defense right now are going to be these Void Rays and these Immortals. 1 Void Ray already goes down. 1-shotted, 2-shotted by these Stalkers, but it looks like there's been enough damage dealt. Looks like these Zealots were able to put in enough work for these Immortals to clean up the rest of them. SCV, yeah, now he's lost a lot of momentum. He is on the back foot a little bit, but he has dealt with the Void Rays at the very least. Yeah,
he traded 8 Stalkers for 2 Void Rays and 1 Immortal, and now we are down to 1 Void Ray, 1 Immortal left. Do we have enough to keep on pushing? Overcharge is now on cooldown. Bear that in mind. It was used in the first defense, and now the shield batteries are going down one after the other. SCV, he is gaining ground.
He absolutely is. Cyan needs to be very careful with his Void Ray. He doesn't want to activate Prismatic Alignment unnecessarily and just keep his Void Ray as a sitting duck. The Void Ray will go down once again, but once again, the Zealots and the Immortals are able to clean up what's left of SCV's forces.
Yeah, I'm loving these Zealots as well. Like, these Zealots, they are awful aggressively if you want to try to chase this army down. But because SCV is constantly diving on top of the army, then the Zealots, they're already there to just swipe away at those Stalkers. Third Immortal does arrive. GG gets called. We cannot break this position. And Cyan takes game number 2 and the series 2-0.